Welcome to another episode of Nothing But Dicta, where everyone has an opinion and you get to hear it. I'm your host, Erin, and today's episode is all about the Student Bar Association. What is it? Why should you care? How can you get involved? And more coming right up after some introductions.
My name is Jackie Fisher. I'm this year's president of the Student Bar Association, and I'm a 3L.
My name is Lucy Hendrix. I am a 2L, and I'm the vice president of programming for the SBA.
So, as upperclassmen, it seems like second nature. But for all the 1Ls listening, can you explain to them what the Student Bar Association is?
So, the Student Bar Association is it's the student government of the law school. As far as like any equivalent experience might go, like we are responsible for our own programming, but we also administer the student organizations and their funding and their bylaws. So it's that type of big picture stuff. We're planning events, we're keeping things fun. Lucy can talk more about our programming. But then the other side of the Student Bar Association, like the flip of it, is not just the fun stuff, but we're also like the representative of the student body to the administration. Some of those advocacy efforts would include things like disability access. They'd include things like last year, which we actually, we were recognized by the American Bar Association for, was we created a student assistance fund under the previous administration. That basically is, financial aid for emergency financial aid, cash supplements for students who need it.
So is there anything that you're particularly proud that the SBA has been able to accomplish in the last couple months since you took presidency?
One of the things I'm actually really proud that the SBA accomplished just in the past week is we completely revamped the orientation, diversity, and inclusion training. So this is something that's been in the works since March. But then in light of the George Floyd protests, it really kicked up a notch and, further pushed us to do okay, we can't just do this bare bones. We really need to go the extra mile on it. So to me, what that says about the SBA is we're an organization that helps build the community that we want this to be, and we can instill the values that we want our community to reflect.
So given that the SBA is such an expansive and large organization, what is your advice for students to get the most out of the SBA?
So I think the most out of the SBA, in my opinion, that you could get, it would be to join it. And I think that's the best way to get involved. I think the second best way would be going to events and really paying attention, especially to the newsletter. We have a ton of events. We try to share a ton of information on those newsletters. If you don't want to read my long spiel in the beginning of whatever's happening this week, that's totally fine. But you don't want to miss on those events. You don't want to miss on those updates. So reading the newsletter, attending events, staying in the loop, those are important things to do. And then the other thing would be to just, talk to your peers, make sure that you're staying in touch with them and communicating with them, because, if things come up and you're seeing a problem and you're seeing a lot of your friends having this problem, well, guess what? We're here to help you. We have a voice with the administration. I've built relationships with the deans, so have many other SBA members, and we're here to help you, So those would be my 3 ideas on how you can get the most out of the organization. Although, shameless plug, I really think everyone should apply.
Wow, thank you, Jackie. That really is great advice. My last question is more geared towards Lucy's position. Are there any programming events that you're particularly excited about for the upcoming semester?
Yeah, definitely. There's so many exciting things to come. So as you all might imagine, we are making a lot of changes to what SBA typically would offer in the fall semester with school being virtual this year. So in that we have, a fairly unique opportunity to kind of turn what we typically do on its head and look for new exciting ways for students to be engaged. So specifically the programming committee can be thought of as the social arm of SBA. So while unfortunately we won't be able to be together for bar reviews or Thirsty Thursdays or even, sadly, Halloween in person during the fall semester, we do have some cool things in place of that. So on Thursdays, instead of doing, the typical Thirsty Thursday into bar review, we are introducing a new program called Takeout Takeover that I think is super exciting. So each week we will still be partnering with a different student organization, similarly to how Thirsty Thursdays have been in the past. But instead, they'll be hosting some kind of virtual event or activity. But then what I think is the really exciting part is that we have partnered with different local restaurants and businesses. And so each week we will also be offering a discount code, or in some cases just a free giveaway to a local restaurant. The idea being that you can order takeout, come home, hang out, and enjoy dinner while participating in this event. So I'm super excited for that. We have some really, really great restaurants that we'll be partnering with, and we will be updating the Facebook pages with that information. And then it's also included in the newsletter that Jackie was discussing previously. So y'all will be able to see ahead of time and, make your plans if that's something that you would be interested in. And we'll also be introducing some totally new programming. We're working with some of the most popular professors of GW Law to give you an insight into their lives outside of the classroom. And then the last thing to plug, we will be continuing our Fireside Chat series. And so for those, they're a little bit more serious, topic-based. So we'll be bringing in different professors and members of the DC community to speak to different issues related to the legal field. And as always, if you have any suggestions of someone that you'd like to see speak or a topic that you'd like to see covered, please reach out to SBA Programming or to me directly, because we would love to put those in action as much as we can. So, even though it won't look like a normal semester, I think it's going to be great, and we have some fun things planned in place, and I hope that you all will be excited for them too.
Well, Lucy, it sounds like you're making the most out of a difficult situation with this pandemic. So I'm very excited to see what you do with your programming events. I want to thank you two again for being here today. I really appreciate it, and I know our listeners do too. Well, that's it for today. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Nothing But Dicta. And as always, if you like this podcast, be sure to tune in next time.